Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be testing out a new makeup launch, and I wanted to put it to the test next to a product that I consider one of my absolute holy grails to see how it holds up. I've heard a lot of people compare these two products, so I wanted to see for myself whether or not I thought they were similar at all, or whether or not this new launch is better than my favorite. So the product that I'm talking about is the new Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Full Coverage Concealer. This just launched recently. It cost $29, and much like the All Nighter Foundation, it's supposed to be super pigmented, super matte, super long wearing, and it's supposed to be apparently as good as, or if not better than, the Tarte Shape Tape, which is like my holy grail concealer of life. So today we're going to be putting those to the test. I have done my foundation and my eyeshadow. I have not put on any concealer yet, or blush, bronzer, any of that jazz, so we really need to finish up my makeup situation. But before we get into that, I just want to say hi and welcome to any of you who are new to my channel. My name is Lauren. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out and chatting beauty with me. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and occasionally on Saturday I do shopping vlogs and unboxings and fun stuff like that. So if all that sounds good to you, make sure you click that little subscribe button down below before you go. That way you'll be kept in the loop whenever I'm uploading new content. And in the meantime, I'm going to scoot you guys a little bit closer so we can play with this new concealer. So let's chat a little bit more about this guy. So this is the new Urban Decay All Nighter Concealer. The packaging is like a little mini version of the foundation. It has the same design on the bottle. The packaging on this is absolutely stunning. There's no doubt about that at all. The claims on this say that it is waterproof. It's supposed to be full coverage, last all day and all night. It's supposed to be able to cover up even your most scandalous flaws. It's an ultra pigmented formula that controls shine and masks imperfections, including dark circles, for 24 hours. And a beautiful matte modern finish that never looks overdone. So that sounds pretty great. Now, as I said before, I'm completely obsessed with the Tarte Shape Tape. This for me is very full coverage. It's creamy, it blends out beautifully, it doesn't crease. It's basically like magic in a bottle. So if this new all-nighter concealer is at all on the same page as the Shape Tape, I'm sure that I will love it. I've heard a lot of people compare these two, so I do want to see whether or not I think there is any similarities between them. So I picked up the shade Medium Light Warm in the in the Urban Decay concealer because I wear the shade Light Medium Honey in the Tarte Shape Tape. So we'll also see how the shade match compares. I'm going to be putting the Shape Tape on one eye and the Urban Decay concealer on the other, so we can compare how they wear, how they look, whether or not one fades more, creases more, and all that good stuff. So just as a couple other little asides about this particular product, the shade range on this concealer is pretty good. There's quite a few options, so I do appreciate that. The price point, again, is $29, which is, to me, pretty up there for concealer. I do believe they raised the price of the Tarte Shape Tape. I think it's now maybe like $27, so I think it's still a little bit less expensive than the Urban Decay. But again, these are both kind of pricey-ish products. You know, a little bit goes a long way with my Shape Tape, so I feel like one tube does last me a really long time. On that note, I was looking at the ounces of these two products, and there's 3 times as much product in the Tarte Shape Tape as there is in this Urban Decay concealer. You only get, the box says, 3.5 milliliters or 0.12 fluid ounces of the Urban Decay. With the Shape Tape, you get 10 milliliters or 0.338 fluid ounces. So there is quite a big difference in terms of the amount of product that you're getting for your money. So I'll be curious to see if this is really spreadable, if I just need a little bit of this product, because then maybe I wouldn't go through it as fast as a Shape Tape. But even as it is, I maybe go through a Shape Tape once every 6 months or so. I don't need to use a lot of this. It lasts me a long time. So without me rambling on any further, let's get to the demo. Alright, so I've got my eyeshadow on, foundation, no concealer. I'm going to go with the Shape Tape first because I know this guy. It is very familiar to me. I'm going to apply this under my right eye. I'm just going to put a few little dots of product because that's really all that you need. And I'm going to blend this in with my beauty blender. And again, the Shape Tape, I love it because it's super full coverage, but it's very blendable and creamy. So it covers everything up. It's really brightening, but a little bit of product goes a really long way. Alright, so there's my Shape Tape. I feel like immediately that just brightened up my under eye. So we're gonna go in on the other side now and try out this Urban Decay concealer. So this is what it looks like. It has a doe foot wand, but obviously the applicator is way smaller than the Shape Tape. Let me show you guys side by side what they look like. As you can tell, the applicator on the Shape Tape is massive, which I really like because it lets you deposit product kind of more quickly and easily. You just kind of need to make like 3 little dots under your under eye and it gives you enough product. This, however, I feel like it's a lot smaller, so I might need to apply a little bit more. Now, color-wise, this does seem a bit darker than the Shape Tape, so we'll have to see how that works out. I may look a little crazy today at work with 2 different colored under eyes. So I definitely noticed there's a lot less product on the applicator wand with this, but it does seem extremely pigmented. Like it feels a little bit thicker and drier than the Shape Tape. That is very full coverage though, like very full coverage. All right, so comparing my 2 eyes, looking at this right now, I do feel like the Urban Decay concealer did cover, but I think this shade is a little bit dark for me for a concealer. I definitely would choose to use something lighter, so I might go back to Ulta and exchange this for a lighter shade, just because it does seem a hair darker. Like, and I don't know, I feel like it might just be me, but I feel like it's also getting darker as it's drying down, and I don't know if that's because it's oxidizing or it's just the way that the formula is. I'm also starting to notice they're both creasing a little bit under my under eye. I didn't set this right away, but I feel like I'm noticing these creases more on the Urban Decay side, I think. I feel like it also looks just a little bit heavy, and I don't think I applied too much, but I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm going to set both of these down with my Cover FX Perfect setting powder, and I'm gonna put on the rest of my makeup, and then I'll meet you guys back here. All right, so I am back. I got the rest of my makeup on. So at least in terms of how I'm feeling now with both of these concealers set down, I feel like my under eyes always crease pretty much no matter what. So I would say maybe the Urban Decay side looks just slightly more creasy than the Tarte side, but they both are creasing a little bit, and that is pretty expected for me. I think the Tarte side maybe looks just a hair less cakey than the Urban Decay side, but time will tell. My skin is extremely oily, so my makeup tends to look very different from when I first put it on to like a couple hours later when my skin's natural oils kind of start to mix with the makeup. So what I think we're gonna do is I'm gonna check in with you guys later today, and we'll take a look at both of these concealers and see if there's any differences or if I have a preference for one side or the other. I have to go to work, I have to maybe do some shopping, I have a lot of stuff I've got to do today. So I will check in with you guys in a little bit. Let me see, right now it is, so according to the Fitbit, it is currently at 9:36 in the morning, so I will check in with you guys probably around lunchtime and let you know how things look. Hey guys, so it's time for a check-in. It is 4:03 p.m., so I have had this makeup on for what? 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 6 hours-ish or so, maybe a little bit more than that. So why don't I scoot you guys a little bit closer so we can take a look at how this concealer is looking under my eyes. All right, so we are super zoomed in so you guys can see exactly what's going on my under eyes. Just as a reminder, this is the Tarte side, this is the Urban Decay side, and I can say right off the bat that I think the Tarte side looks better. I feel like obviously the shade match on the Urban Decay side is not perfect. I would have preferred it to be a little bit more lightening and brightening. You can definitely see there's more of a brightening effect on the Tarte side. That's a shade thing, not a formula thing. But I feel like this side of my under eye looks smoother. Like I definitely have like prominent lines underneath both of my eyes. That happens with literally every foundation I've ever used ever. I just have very like prominent lines there that tend to crease. But I feel like the Shape Tape side looks a little less dry and a little less cakey than the Urban Decay side. Like I just feel like you can see the texture on my under eyes more enhanced. This looks a little bit smoother, and I use the same powder to set on both sides. Also, my nose, my foundation is like totally rubbed off because allergies and life. So just ignoring that for a second, I feel like The actual coverage, it looks still pretty good on both sides. Like my foundation is gone, but the concealer is holding up really well. The pigmentation is definitely there. I just think that the Urban Decay side looks a little bit drier and a little bit flakier. The Tarte side I feel like just looks a little bit more smooth. So I know this is just like a first go around for this concealer. I know that I haven't put this to like a full test yet. I definitely will continue to use this a few more times before I make up my mind. But as for where I stand right now, I don't think I like this more than I like the Tarte Shape Tape. Obviously, the shade match is not correct for my skin tone. This would be the correct shade match if I wanted to correct imperfections on my skin as opposed to highlighting or brightening the under eye. I was not sure. I mean, when you're ordering shades online, you can't really tell like what it's going to look like until you get it if you haven't never seen it in the store. So I definitely erred on the side of this being a little too dark. So I feel like, yes, it's not going to give me the same effect as I would normally like in my under eyes. I just think that I know this is very full coverage and very matte, and I feel like it looks that way on the skin. It just looks kind of heavy and a little bit dry. And I have very oily skin, so normally I don't mind very matte things, but I feel like the Shape Tape is quite matte. It does dry down and have a lot of pigmentation, but it doesn't make your skin look dry. It doesn't make it look sort of like it's had all the moisture sucked out of it and have that like Sahara crackly kind of cakey appearance. So I don't, I just so far have not felt like this outshines or outperforms the Shape Tape in any way. And considering that it's more expensive and you get less product, I sort of feel like I don't see why I would ever purchase this over the Shape Tape. Odds are I'll give this more of a try, but if I don't like it, then I'm going to return it because I'd rather not spend $29 on a product that I don't love, especially when I have another concealer that I enjoy using. I also think that if you have normal to dry skin, or especially suffer from dry under eyes, this is going to be way too drying and way too cakey looking on you. It's way too heavy. I think that if you need that sort of luminous, brightening, hydrated under eye look, this is not the concealer for you. It might be better as a spot concealer because it is so long wearing and it is very pigmented, but I feel like applying it over any large areas, this concealer is going to look heavy. It's going to look dry, and especially I don't know how well it will play with different foundations. So I think what I'm going to do is try to use this all over my face in different areas to cover up blemishes, mix it with some different foundations, see how it plays well with some other types of formulas, and I'll report back to you guys in January in my currently testing update video and let you know what my final thoughts on this product were. But in terms of a first impression wear test, I think I'm going to rule the Tarte Shape Tape is still the crowning champion of concealer. If you guys enjoy these little demo review, first impression type videos, please give this one a thumbs up. I really appreciate your support. And again, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please make sure you do that if you want to see more from me in the future. In the meantime, I've got to go do some shopping because Christmas is literally this weekend. What the heck? I don't know when that happened, guys. So I hope you have an amazing rest of your Monday, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.